Hour, some of the latest developments that have come in from Islamabad, where the National Assembly Deputy Speaker Qasim Suri has resigned. In a statement, the PTI member said that his decision to resign symbolizes his party's vision. The resignation came just hours before a no-confidence motion was to be voted on. Now, earlier, the opposition alliance had filed a no-trust vote against the Deputy Speaker, alleging his bias for the PTI. Now, this latest resignation means that the National Assembly of Pakistan currently has no speakers. The main speaker, Asad Kaiser, had resigned last week. The decision was taken just ahead of the no-confidence vote against former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Now, this story is the latest that we have coming in from Islamabad, where the National Assembly Deputy Speaker, Qasim Suri, has now resigned. He said in a statement, the PTI members, that his decision to resign symbolizes his party's vision. Now, this resignation has come just hours before a no-confidence motion was to be voted on. Earlier, the opposition alliance had filed a no-trust vote against the Deputy Speaker, alleging his bias towards the PTI. Now, this latest resignation means that the National Assembly of Pakistan currently has no speakers. The main speaker, Asad Kaiser, resigned last week, and the decision was taken just ahead of the no-confidence vote against former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Now, for more on this, we are being joined by our Pakistan Bureau Chief, Anas Malik, joining us live from Islamabad. Hello to you, Anas. Now, the National Assembly Deputy Speaker, Qasim Suri, has resigned, and a new cabinet is to be formed. Can you tell us more on this?
Well, yes, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, or rather the former Deputy Speaker, Qasim Suri, has penned down his resignation just ahead, hours or rather minutes before the Assembly was to convene on his no-confidence vote, the motion of no confidence, and the vote was to happen today. Now, he has sent his resignation, saying that it is in line with his party line as well, with his party policy. Remember, the Speaker of the Assembly, Asad Kaiser, had resigned last Saturday, when we saw that high drama unraveling here in Pakistan when the vote of no confidence against the Prime Minister was to be held. Now, just as I talk to you, the Pakistani, it's roughly 12:37 here on the dial, local time in the afternoon, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, has walked into the hall that is right across me, that's right in front of me. That's the National Assembly of Pakistan, the main hall, the session hall, and that's where he is. In a very short while from now, we'll be seeing that the session will begin. And it will be seeing the election of the speaker as well. Now, it is pertinent to mention that Raja Pervez Ashraf, pardon me on that, the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, belonging to the Pakistan People's Party, he is likely to be elected unopposed as the speaker. He had submitted his nomination papers. He's from the Pakistan People's Party, but he's likely to be the joint candidate of the what was once the opposition, which is now the allied government. And going forward, today the session will be chaired by a member of the panel of chairs, Sadiq. After which the call for election for the speaker will be made, and then Raja Pervez Ashraf will take oath and the seat of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Alison?
Right, Anas. Now, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said that his government will not increase fuel prices despite the challenges that Pakistan's economy is facing. How bad is the problem of inflation in the country?
Well, the problem of inflation is not just bad, it is at its worst. It won't be wrong to say that. Pakistan's inflation levels is in double digits. It's at an all-time high. The economic problem is something that has been persistent. all of the governments have been accusing their predecessors, and the loan problem doesn't seem to fade away. Now, we've seen yesterday the decision from the Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who has said that he will not be immediately be increasing the fuel prices for one very reason, that he does not want to immediately burden up the common people, and the government will continue to hold up that subsidy, to have that subsidy on its end, so that common people can have relief. But that is not something that is certain. Every 15 days, every fortnight is when Pakistan revises its fuel prices. So sooner or later, the government might just have to increase those fuel prices, which have been artificially put at a hold by the previous government. I mean, and even now, a continuation of which we're seeing in the current government as well. Alison?
Now, on the larger issue of Pakistan's economy, just how bad is the economic situation there? And does Shehbaz Sharif have a plan to address the economic concerns of the country?
He does have a plan to address. That's what he said. I was present in the interaction with journalists on Tuesday, when that was the first day of him taking charge in the office, and he said that he has two plans. One is the long-term plan that will be implemented over the time, and one is a short-term plan to fix the economic situation. We're seeing that in all likelihood the special assistant to the Pakistani Prime Minister, the advisor to the Pakistani Prime Minister will be Miftah Ismail, who was the former finance minister. He's currently not a member of the parliament, but he'll be the interim or de facto finance minister. He's been nominated to hold talks with the IMF as well, to head talks with the IMF as well. So in all likelihood, Miftah Ismail, who is a known stalwart, who is known to the economic sector, to the finance sector, he'll be taking charge, and he's somebody who's a businessman who knows the ins and outs. So Shehbaz Sharif has been vowing that he has plans, provided if he gets to implement them in its fullest form. If not, that's a bigger question. But he claims that if he gets to implement them, then the economic situation could be revived, and we'd be seeing an uplift in Pakistan economy. Alison?
Right. And Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif is heading a coalition of several parties who don't really share any common ground on several key ideological issues. How much of a challenge will it be for him to keep this coalition together?
That's a bigger challenge. We have to understand one thing, that the Pakistani electoral term for this assembly ends in a year and a half from now. So essentially, this coalition, the allied coalition, has about 6 months until it goes back to the public and goes into the election mode. We've been seeing questions being asked to the Prime Minister about how long will this government last. He's been saying that, or rather wishing that it continues for a year and a half. But then again, it is all subjected to the allies movement. You've said it rightly that these allies did not share anything in common. But at this point of time, their only focus first was to oust Imran Khan, which they have succeeded, and now they will be going on towards other items as well, other things as well. Now, as I talk to you, the National Assembly session has just begun, 43 minutes later from its scheduled time. And in a very short while from now, we'll be seeing the election of the Speaker of the National Assembly as well. Alison?
Anas, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest details, and you will of course be keeping us up to date with the latest coming out of Pakistan.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.